Hello and welcome to FPL Malbo. My name's Andy and today I've got another video for you where I'll take you through how I did in Game Week 3 and we'll have a look at my watch list and transfer plans ahead of Game Week 4. If you're enjoying the videos, find them useful, then please subscribe to the channel, give it a like and a comment. Without further ado, we'll jump into seeing how I got on in Game Week 3. So in Game Week 2, I got 55 points and the average was 44. And in Game Week 3, I've got 55 points and the average was 44. So if you're wondering what you get from this channel, amazing consistency is what you're going to get. Hopefully do that every single week until the end of the season. But it was a decent green arrow for me. Flecken 4 points, was nice conceded, but he got a save point and a bonus point. So that was nice to see. With Brentford conceding meant that Henry just got a 2, 1 for Estupinan and 6 for Chilwell with a clean sheet for him. I've mainly got him in for attacking potential, and I mean he had one chance where he was clean through on goal and opted to pass instead of having to go at goal himself, which was frustrating to say the least. But if he's chipping him clean sheets, I'm not going to complain. He's still getting into really, really great attacking positions. I'm still convinced he's basically playing as a winger, and Colwell's playing as the left back rather than a kind of left wing back in a back five. But yeah, either way, really happy to own him going forward. The midfield was mixed. Mbeumo with his first blank really for me this season. That's fine for 6.5 million. He's not going to be getting a goal and assist every week. Martinelli is a concern for me. Now Jesus is coming back. I think that means two things, and it's plus and minus. I think Jesus and Martinelli as a combination, I think, brings out the best in Martinelli. But you are just adding another player in who's a rotation risk. We saw Trossard start in the kind of centre forward position this week. But I would have thought it's most likely that him and Martinelli are maybe going to share minutes a bit more on the left. But we'll have to see going forward. My main concern is that he doesn't seem to have any real attacking threat. I think he misses Xhaka as well, and that link up with Havertz just isn't there yet. Saka got a penalty. It's lovely to see him take it instead of Odegaard, so a nice 8 points from him. 2 assists from Rashford. I said I was always going to wait and see on Rashford. I was never going to sell him before Nottingham Forest. I'm still not entirely sold, but certainly Martinelli's ahead of him on the chopping block, I think. Maddison, honestly, Maddison's just been an absolute dream this season. It's not just the points that he's got. He just looks like the creative centre of that team. He looks like he's going to be involved in every kind of goal opportunity. So yeah, 10 points for him. Superb. Really happy to own him. Watkins with an assist. He's had a ton of chances in the first 3 games for not huge output, but he's got a hat-trick in Europe in midweek, so he's clearly, not lacking confidence in front of goal at the moment, and he's getting the chances. And I know he's not an elite finisher. He will sort of underperform his XG a little, but if he's getting loads of chances and he keeps pitching in with, he got an assist and 5 points. Honestly, happy with that. He was somebody I was kind of looking at jumping off, I think, early season, as soon as the better option sort of stood out. But for the moment, I'm really happy to hold. Haaland, my captain, just 4 points, so 8 after his captaincy. And to be honest, after missing a penalty, just delighted that he managed to get away with 4 points. I think he's caught the City bug. He's been there too long, and now his penalties have regressed to the City norm. But never mind, 55 points. Really pleased. It's another green arrow for me, just outside the top 200k. I always start badly, and this is the best start I've had for the last few years. So yeah, really pleased. So if we have a look who's on my watch list ahead of game week 4, and there's a couple of defenders that I'm looking at, mainly because Gabriel's going to have to go. He's not started the first 3. I thought he had a good chance of coming back into the team. Having said that, I still benched him. But he's just going to keep dropping in price. I need to get ahead and sell him, and I need to commit to somebody to replace him with. And first on my watch list is Destiny Udogie. Sorry if I've butchered his name. I think I'm probably all right because I don't think he watches the channel. But yeah, there we go. I really like the look of him. I think a lot of people had him from the start of the season, or at least a lot of kind of content creators seem to have him from the start of the season. I'm slightly concerned that the time to have him might have passed. Burnley and Sheffield United are really nice in the next 2, but then they've got Arsenal and Liverpool, and I think they'll concede in both games. So clean sheets go out the window, and you're relying on attacking potential. Now, we obviously got an assist, and it was from a brilliant run, well-deserved assist this week. But I think he spends most of his time tucking in. So he's kind of playing that sort of inverted left-back role where he plays alongside the sort of defensive midfielder a lot of the time. It's not to say that he won't get forward and doesn't have attacking potential. He certainly does. And 4.6 million for a Tottenham team that started the season really well, and to say with 2 good fixtures coming up, he looks great. But I've half a feeling if I brought him in that I'd want to jump off him again in a couple of weeks, or at least he'd just sit on my bench. And for 4.6 million, of course he can sit on my bench. Price point's not bad at all. But I've got sort of mixed fixtures coming up out of my defenders. I wonder whether I would be better getting someone a little more long term. Estupiñán, for example, started the season really well. But Brighton's fixtures get a little tougher in a few games, so he's somebody maybe I want to bench on a few occasions. And yeah, Udogie, really like him in the short term. I wonder if I'll be better with somebody who's a little more of a long-term option for me. And that long-term option, for me, I'm looking at Kieran Trippier. Now, bringing in somebody who has blanked in his first 3 game weeks and has Brighton in their next game is a difficult sell, I think. I was always planning on bringing in a Newcastle defender in the next couple of game weeks. I think they've got a bit of a fixture swing, and I think in an ideal world, you always want Kieran Trippier out of that Newcastle defence. He's on all set pieces. He puts a huge amount of crosses in. He's still creative. I haven't seen a drop-off this season. He just hasn't had any returns. And yeah, they've had difficult fixtures as well. Now, there's a chance that I'd be bringing him in and immediately putting him on my bench. And for the second most expensive defender in the game, I get that that's a difficult sell. But yeah, moving forward, it's a long-term pick. And I think if I want a Newcastle defender and I need to make a defender change this week because Gabriel's just going to keep dropping in price and he's not playing, yeah, I might as well go for the long-term pick, I think. Now, I have still got slight considerations for Gusto and Saliba, who were on my watch list last week. Saliba, I talked myself out of it, I think, as I was talking about him in last week's video. I don't see him having a massive amount of attacking threat. I think Arsenal have changed the way that they play a little bit, particularly defensively and in midfield. They look a little bit more open at the back. Yeah, I don't think there's a high upside for Saliba. So I'm sort of talked myself out of that one. Gusto, I think, still looks great. For everyone who watched last week's video will have heard me say that he doesn't have much attacking potential, and then he got 2 assists. So you're welcome for that insight. The problem is that Reece James is, the rumours that I've heard is that he's likely to be back soon after the international break, if not straight after, and Gusto loses place. So yeah, Kieran Trippier jumped to number 1, I think, on my defensive watch list. And the third player on my watch list this week is Raheem Sterling. And as a City fan, I'm actually really happy to say that. I never begrudged him leaving. I really wanted him to go and do well at Chelsea, as long as he didn't do well against us. And yeah, he had a difficult season last season. You've always got to be careful about chasing points. Like, you can't get the 19 points that he got against Luton just by bringing him in. But I think that the game against West Ham gives me as much confidence in Sterling as that Luton game did. He, I think, was Chelsea's best player in that game. He looks like the Sterling of old, where he's running at players and committing defenders. It was a great finish in the Luton game as well, and that's something that I think you don't often say about Raheem Sterling. But I think when he's playing full of confidence and yeah, sort of confidence in his own play, taking players on, having a go at goal, I think he's the best asset in that Chelsea attack. I know a lot of people have been looking at Jackson and bringing him in, and he scored this week. So yeah, fair play to them. Yeah, I think Sterling is a better option than Jackson. Yes, they play in different positions, but they're a similar price point. Yeah, if I could only own one of them, I would own Raheem Sterling. Similar to defenders, I've still got Foden in mind as well, who was on my watch list last week. He was benched this week. From what I understand, he's been ill, and that was why he wasn't considered to start. He came off the bench and, got a very lucky assist, basically miscontrolled it onto Rodri's foot. But you know what, they all count. So he brought in Foden, play to you. He got nice and lucky there. But yeah, Foden, you're always looking at the pet roulette thing. He's not guaranteed to start every week. Sterling, Chelsea don't have Europe, so there's nothing to rotate for, really. I don't see why Raheem Sterling wouldn't be in the team every single week, particularly the way that he's playing. So yeah, he's the one that I really like. For what it's worth, if I didn't have Maddison, I think my order would be Maddison, Sterling, Foden as the three midfielders around that sort of 7.5 price point to be looking at bringing in. So yeah, Raheem Sterling as a Maddison owner already. Raheem Sterling's jumped to the top of my midfield watch list. So this is how I am currently set up for next week. But as you can see, I've got 2 free transfers and 1.4 million in the bank. So to go through the team quickly, Flecken and Henry, I really like the look of that Bournemouth fixture. I think they've scored 2 goals in the first 3 games. I don't think they've got a huge amount of attacking threat. I don't mind the double up. I think there's a really decent chance for a clean sheet there. Stupenham against Newcastle. Obviously, Brighton lost this week. And yeah, I don't think it's too much to worry about. It sounded like Brighton played okay, but every time West Ham came forward, they were really clinical. Stupenham, it's his attacking output as well. Like, he's so attacking in that team. I think he's had like almost the most shots in the touches in the box and the most shots for any defender so far. So I'm happy to have him even in a tougher fixture. I don't think they'll keep a clean sheet, but yeah, I could certainly see him pitching in with an assist there. Chilwell against Forest. Yeah, delighted to have Ben Chilwell at the moment. And Wemo talked about Bournemouth. Obviously, the defence looks okay, but yeah, and Mbeumo, if anyone's going to get chances in that game, you feel like it'd be him or Vissa. So hopefully it's Mbeumo. Then Martinelli, Saka, and Rashford are against each other, and that's kind of tougher. So at the moment, we're hoping for lots of goals, and hopefully those guys will be involved in them. Maddison against Burnley. Don't think it's the easiest fixture. I think Burnley, even though they've lost the first 2, I think will be a good team this season. So yeah, we'll have to see how he gets on there. But the way he's playing at the moment, he can get points against anyone. Watkins, Liverpool away. Don't mind that. I still think that Liverpool defence is gettable at. Van Dijk's going to be missing. I don't think Trent's shown a lot of form this season. And Villa will look really good going forward. So yeah, don't mind that fixture at all. Haaland, I've still got the captaincy on him against Fulham. Hopefully, if he gets a penalty this week, he will put them away. But with those 2 free transfers burning a hole in my pocket, here's what I'm looking at doing. Now, as I said, Gabriel, I think, has to go from my team. I'm just going to keep losing money on him if I don't transfer him out. And Kieran Trippier is, I think, the most likely transfer that I'm going to make. Whether I start him away at Brighton or Stupinan at home against Newcastle, I don't know. I'm pretty undecided there. At the moment, I'm leaning with the home fixture, which would mean that Trippier is on the bench. I could consider him in for Rico Henry, but like I say, I don't mind having a double up, I think, on that fixture. So, yeah, at the moment, Kieran Trippier likely to be on my bench, but then he could start the next 10 fixtures for me. Newcastle fixtures really turn around, and there's more Newcastle players I'm going to be targeting in the next few weeks. Secondly, well, first of all, I can't afford that straight out. I think I'm 0.2 million short to be able to make that change. So I'm eyeing up bringing in Raheem Sterling for Martinelli. Now, I'm not completely convinced by selling Martinelli. I mean, it could be Rashford. I'm a little bit worried that Gabriel Jesus is going to be back into that Arsenal team, and we'll see that link up that they had last season. And Martinelli, the reason I had him in my team is because I think he's the best finisher in that Arsenal team. He's the one with the most attacking threat. And yeah, I like his price point as well. He's cheaper than Saka, but Saka's on penalties. Martinelli started the season quietly. Yeah, I want Raheem Sterling for the kind of run of fixtures that they've got as well. I really like that Nottingham Forest game. Just conceded 3 to United. It's at home for Chelsea. I think Sterling could pull big there again. So that's what I'm looking at doing. It would leave me 0.7 in the bank still. And to be honest, looking forward, quite a lot of the changes I'm looking at making are downgrades. Like the strikers that I'm eyeing up for Watkins. Yes, I'm happy to own him in the short term, but yeah, people like Isak are very much going to come into consideration soon. So yeah, the money isn't a massive concern to me at the moment. But yeah, that's what I'm looking like for next week. Like I say, I've still got the captaincy on Haaland and the vice captaincy. I've got it on Saka at the moment, but I probably would change it to Raheem Sterling if I do commit to bringing him in. So that's it for my team selection ahead of game week 4. If you enjoyed the video, then please give it a like, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, all of that stuff, as I've said before. Really appreciate it. And yeah, leave it there for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again on another video.